Is this working? Oh wow, it is working. Cool. Hi, this is Chris over at 3dpalace.com, or Old Blue, depending on what you want to call me. Okay, now this is a small tutorial. I don't often do these, or at least I haven't for a long time, so bear with me, it could be terrible. Now, my daughter, who's hip and trendy and cool and wears a funny hat, said that this is cool. Okay, now, don't get me wrong, it probably is cool, it's all vectors and stuff. But she said that she'd really think it was cool if I could make something like this in 3D. Now, my daughter's not 6, she's like 24 or something. You know, established concept artist. Way better than I'll ever be. But, you know, sod it, I'll give it a game. Now, a lot of this is about how you can take a single one reference image, okay, and make it into something else. Make it into something good. So, I've got this on my second monitor. If you don't have a second monitor, then either consider getting one. They're not very expensive. And if you've got a good enough graphics card for 3D, you can certainly get a second monitor. Or, you know, print it out. Lovely. Right, 1 minute in. I've done nothing except talk nonsense. They say time is money, but you got this for free, so go figure. Okay, I want to get the scale right. I always want to get the scale right when I first start, so I'm going to go here to my systems, and I'm just going to pull a biped out. And if I get the biped to about 180 units, I'll know I'm building it to the correct scale, okay? Dead simple. Right, now, I'm going to start with a primitive, because this is all going to be primitives. It's not a complicated shape at first when I look at it, okay? But then as I start to look more upon it, it's like, oh wait, yes it is. So, we'll just do the basics, obviously, and start from a box. Now, you want one that's going to be the size of the front of the truck, and all I'm doing is I'm basically working by looking at my biped and kind of trying to work out how big that would be in relation to this. Now we know it's a big truck, so if I go to there, and I'm going to hit F4 so I can see my edges, and I'm going to just convert to Editable Poly. Now a lot of this is going to be about making kind of janky looking shapes. That's a term my son had used, but it kind of worked quite well in this. So I'm going to extrude this straight up, okay, and again everything in this is about, I'm afraid, working by eye and just seeing if you can make this work. Okay, now you can see that angle looks about right. Okay, and constantly you're going to be just adjusting your mesh. Now, if you're not used to doing this, maybe you've just seen this and thought, hey, I really want to make that model. That's cool, okay, but there is work involved. And a lot of that is going to be, I'll just press G there, resizing pieces as you go along. Okay, I'm going to go straight through the middle here, and I'm going to do what's called a connect. And then if I hit my Chamfer Tool, I can just bring this nice and wide, like that. Because what we want is to pull out a part here that's going to make the actual truck part. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to press my scale tool, that's R, and just bring this nice and wide. There we go. See? Wasn't too hard, was it? Okay, now from this I can bring out the base for my truck. Okay, so I've got stuff. I'm going to have room for wheels. I'm going to have room for the bottom of my truck, all that cool stuff. So I'm going to extrude this just a little bit like that. Wait a second. Just these two blocks. Okay, then I'm going to move it, turn off snap that I had on my mistake. Okay, and now this will come out to roughly the correct length here. Now, because I'm working from a vector, I'm having to use my imagination, okay, quite a lot. So be careful when you're doing this, when you're using your imagination. Now I'm going to just bring this back a bit, and that way we're going to have room for the wheel. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this bit and this bit, this bit and this bit, and I am going to just extrude those until they're roughly the same width, there and there. See that? Cool. Okay, so now we have some room for the wheels to come out of our thing. I may actually make these a little bit less big. There we go, about there. Okay. Right, now we have more or less enough stuff now to kind of bring up the back of our cab a bit. So I am going to bring it up from there. I'm just going to grab my verts. We can see that this kind of comes across to the front here, so that works out pretty well for us. Sorry, grab my polys, my verts, my polys. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to just extrude this straight up and then use my move tool, like so. Okay, now something you may have noticed in this, okay, if you haven't, that's cool, but I'm not going to keep referring back to the image, but the bonnet, or hood, if you're American, hood, actually is slightly wider at the top, okay, just to give it a slightly more menacing look, just there. And if I do a swift loop about there, okay, and then scale it back a teeny bit, not too much though, there, okay, so it gives it more of a curved shape. And the good thing is that we can now move our hood or bonnet or frontal decal or whatever it is you want to call it forward. Okay, it's not huge, so it doesn't need to be. Right, that's nice. Now, for my next trick, I am going to go straight through the middle, and I am going to use a connect. Now, think of this a bit like a Bob Ross thing, or Paint with Nancy thing, or, you know, whatever elderly painting show you can remember the name of, or that your folks used to watch, or whatever. Okay, that's how this works. We are going to, in essence, what do you call it? We're basically going to have a finished product, and it's going to look cool, but it's going to look like crap at first. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, so I'm going to use my edges, and I use edges and edge selection because it's a lot easier to maintain symmetry. Now I could, if you know your 3D, I could use the symmetry tool, but I don't feel inclined to be honest. So what I'm going to do instead is I am going to do this, which is directly in the middle of our lovely big truck, and this will allow me quite a lot more control than you would believe, okay, because all I'm doing is just slowly scaling it down. Okay, now I've said many times to many artists in the past to use your artistic eye, and that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do here. Okay, so use your artistic eye. Now you may notice, okay, the bonnet hood bumper thingy does not angle down yet. It will. We've just got to make it angle down a bit. You see, this is a cartoon, remember. It's squash and stretch, we call this. Now, if you're a fan of such wonders as, what do you call it, Pixar and things like that, then you'll kind of know about, well, in Tom and Jerry, you'll know about squash and stretch and things like that. You know, in Tom and Jerry, when a character gets hit by a frying pan, they squash and stretch. In Pixar, they don't. And that's what kind of defines the difference between very realistic 3D or 2D and, you know, cartoony action. And this is very cartoony. So anyway, I'm going to extrude this by 0. Now extrude it by 0, okay, so I'm just pulling it up until and down again until it looks like it hasn't moved. The reason I do that is because I can then use my move tool like that, okay, and I can start creating the bonnet. Then I can just scale it in just a teeny bit like that. As you'll see at the back, it goes straight up. Okay, now as we all know, a bonnet hood thing never actually connects to the side of the window, which one, the windscreen or whatever you crazy people call it. Okay, so that goes there. Now I can see there's a piece here that hasn't been built, but that's okay, I'll come back to it because all the details in this bit, this is all of it, okay? Once we've done this, we're pretty much done with the entire bloody truck. It's just detailing after that. Okay, it's huge, isn't it? I love it. Now then, this is the wheel arch, so this is presumably where the door is going to come in, so I have to make a cabin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these just here, Okay, I've got a lot of polygons, but I'm not particularly bothered about that because this is 2018 at the moment, and no one's worried about running out of polygons anymore. There isn't a national shortage. Right, so I'll just extrude that and then pull it. Whee! Okay, and now we can start getting the shape of the cab. The cab isn't huge. It's basically the width of a thin door, okay, which is here, and then a bit more at the back. That we just connect this big bloody engine exhaust thing to, or whatever, again, you crazy colonials call it. Okay, now I'm going to pull this up and extrude it straight into the sky like that. Now don't worry that it still doesn't look like quite what you're waiting for, okay? You're bound to go like, oh no, that doesn't look right, that's not the thing that we want. Yeah, it takes a little while and a little bit of tweaking, okay? It doesn't just magically appear. Okay, so I'm going to go through here, yoink, and I'm going to do 2 connects. So I'll just press the settings button, pull 2 connects up like that, and that will allow me to shape the windscreen slash visor? I don't know what you call it. You tell me, just comment. Dear Chris, it is called a wind begone. Will you tell me whatever it is? I don't give a shit. My job is to make things look pretty, not know what they're called. Okay, so as you can see, we're really getting this kind of crunching together. A lot of this is going to be made by things like textures and stuff, okay? But at the minute I'm just building a base shape. My daughter was kind and dumb enough to say that she'd give me a hand with the texturing process. That's her fault. Right, now I am going to have a look at the side of the car. Well, cabin, you know what I mean? The cab. We've got some extra bits that go on the top up here. And we appear to have a little bit of space at the side. So I'm going to assume some of this space is for these weird kind of claw-like pipes that come out that don't make much sense but look cool. So I'm going to leave some space. See that? Left a bit of space. Now then, what I'm going to do here is I am going to inset, then I'm going to extrude. Now I am going to use a bevel tool, and you might not have seen it used like this, so if you haven't, don't freak out, but it gives us a beautiful lip. Okay, so if I pull up, then pull it down so I've got a 0 height again, which you can see there, and then pull out, it means we get this overhang, beautiful, beautiful overhang. Okay, now I can put it straight up like that. Clunk. See? That's all there was to it. Right, now I'm going to pull the entire rack of polygons forward, I think. Doink, doink, doink. I'm not sure how my daughter managed to tempt me into this. I haven't taken a request for a 3D item off the kids in God knows how long. Okay, so there we go. Like that. Remember, this is very rough, by the way. Okay. I'm just trying to give you a kind of a rough overview on how to do this. And if you're with Mystery Skulls or whoever these cool dudes are, then well done. This is a lovely design. Okay. And it's not been too complicated to make. Okay, so inset. Now remember what we just did before. Okay, it's got these cracking things up on the top here, so we may as well make some use of them. So I am going to just bevel it straight up and then click click. Sorry, click. Straight away, click click. Jesus. Okay, and that gives me this, basically an extrude. I do a lot of stuff by bevel. Then I'm going to go up, down, and bevel it out. And I'm going to go straight up and click, yoink. Then I'm going to go up and in. Right. Now I can see that's separated for some reason into 3 parts at the back. So I'm going to take this and this. And I'm also going to take the inside edges. And then I can just shunt those forwards. You notice how I'm trying to keep them in line with the previous angle. Alright, because that's kind of important to me. That dinging was my telephone. I don't know what it wants. It's probably one of my many, many children. Let's have a look. Oh, it's Greg Pennick. I shall say hello to him in a minute. Right then. Let's quite nice being able to do tutorials again. It's been too long for me, it really has. Okay, now I need to separate out this top bit. Now, if you're not used to 3D, a lot of you'll just start digging around and making a mess, because that's how 3D works, okay? You'll start like cracking in lines and pulling things down. You need to be, even if you know that you've got like a lot of polygons to work with, you've got to be careful. Now I am going to make 3 connects, well 2 actually, there we go. So I've got 2 segments in. And you'll notice that they're going all the way around, so even though I don't need it down the side of my model, I put them in anyway, because it's not like with shorter polygons, and it means that our model will certainly be a lot easier for us to manage. Right, now, these parts here, what I'm going to do is I am going to just scale them a little bit, just to make them a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to inset them, but I'm going to inset them by polygon, so we get that space there, and then I'm going to extrude them straight up like that. Okay, and that gives us that bit on top. Okay, see how easy that was? Pretty easy. Let's see if there's a cat at the window, and there isn't. Good. Okay, 16 minutes in, and we are doing good. It's a funny old shape once you take off all the things that make it look really, really cool. Okay, now down here, okay, I am going to just do a few modifications just to pull out this shape, because I think it'll look better and give it a bit more character. Now I'm just doing it by eye. If you find working by eye a bit scary and weird, don't, okay? Just don't do it. Right, now down here I have to put in a wheel, and my wheel is going to be round, obviously. Now to measure the size of my wheel, I am going to use a cylinder, and I will want auto grid on, and that way, because these are really quite high, it's like a low rider flipping truck thing, I can then pull that and that. Okay, let's have a look. Far too big, but that's okay. Just need to get a rough idea. That's the right width there. Is that the right scale as well? It's a bit small, isn't it? But that's okay, because we can change things. So I'm going to increase the radius. Yoink. There. That makes the wheel a bit more presentable, in my opinion. Now, for that to work, I need to go back here, and I'm going to grab here, here, and here, and here. Just bring them back. Maybe a bit more. Yep, that works for me. Now I'm going to bring this in. You see, sometimes you have to make modifications. Now, the guys who probably designed this realised when they did that, you know, obviously it's a... At this point, it was just like a vector sketch, but you have to obviously modify it and make it into a real 3D model, and that's where the fun starts. Now, here's an interesting piece that I'm kind of thinking about and talking about to you right now. This bit here, see it? It's a lot more complicated than it looks, because it kind of hangs off slightly, doesn't it? So let's go to it, okay, and see what we can do. Now we know it hangs above this wheel arch, so what I'm going to do is I am going to grab this, and I'm going to change the height segments to 1, and I'll make a copy of it. That way I've got the wheel size that I need, okay, and this one I am going to convert to editable polygon, and that's a patch, dude. That's not a polygon. Convert to editable polygon. Love editable patches, but they're not much good for me. And probably start here and just go around. You hear tapping noise, by the way. That's my dog. She has a skin complaint. She makes weird noises. Okay, so we have this piece, and I'm going to go Control I, delete, just get rid of all the back pieces that I don't want. Select it all, flip, like that. Now, this is where things can get kind of interesting, okay. Actually, I'll undo the flip. A lot of thinking in this, you may notice. Okay, and go back to select by, and I'm going to go to extrude, and in extrude I want to extrude by local normal. Okay, and that gives me this shape. See how it's rounded? Good. Okay, I'm going to click tick. Now on the inside is hollow, so I can easily fill that. What I'm going to do is just make sure it's selected, select by edge, and hello postman. Let's do the bridge. So one, and just keep going across. Okay. It's all go at Shez Robson, right? Okay, so now with that done, I can taper out these wheel arches quite easily, you see, but I need to put a box on the top of it as well. So what I'm going to do, because that's very much a separate box as well, which is kind of useful for me, I am going to use an edge loop or swift loop here, and just make sure I leave the side. So there we go, I did. Now I think if I come from here, okay, and go straight up, so I'm going to extrude. I'm going to extrude by 0. Click tick, bring it straight up, and I am going to go to my scale tool and scale down on the Z-axis like that, and bring it down because it's too high. There we are. Okay, now I need to change my angle on this a little bit, so I'm going to rotate it, and I'll put angle snap on. That way we can get a good angle, and I think that's a good angle. Scale it wide. And I'm going to bring this forwards, so if I want to check it in my viewport, F3, F4, just look at my viewport, F3, F4, that's my front viewport, and that looks fine, that looks absolutely fine. Perspective zoom, okay. Now, I don't really need to do much more adjusting to that, as long as there's enough room basically for this heart thing. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring this edge forward. Again, you've got to use your artist's eye here, you can't just guess. You can't just go, oh that looks right, because look, it's tilted now, okay, it loses its character. In fact, if you have it slightly tapered up at the end, it's probably going to look even better. Okay, there, that will do it. See, so now we've got that and that. Now, I need a copy of that, so what I'm going to do is use my mirror tool, if I can ever remember where 3ds Max keeps it. There it is. I'm going to create a copy, boink, and I'm going to wait to make it on the y-axis. Then I'm going to reset the X form on this, convert to editable poly, and you may notice it's gone black now, so if I go to select by element, select all and flip, it's now a normal productive member of society, as it should be. Okay, and that goes there, and that goes there, so we just get them basically kind of smashed into position, see? So we get a much more complicated shape now as the truck forms, starts to take shape, yeah? Now, the wheel, I'll just put the wheel in there, I'll put another wheel in there, okay? Remember, this is just very basic. We're not doing anything complicated at the moment. That's for you to do yourself later on. Now, the truck cabin is too narrow, okay? You probably worked that out yourself by now, so I'm going to get rid of my grid. I'll select here, and I'm going to do some repair. So the first thing I'm going to do is take all these verts and make them a bit longer. Then I'm going to take these verts and make them a bit longer. I'm going to take these verts and make them a bit longer. So that wasn't difficult, was it? Now we have a cabin that's kind of the right size and shape and all that good stuff. There's a few other bits that we need to put onto this, so if I just go to my perspective, I always work in perspective. If you don't like working in perspective, you don't have to, but that's how I work. Right, so we can see roughly the shape of the door, which is going to be here. So we need this kind of kick plate step thing that people get on and off. And in my opinion, that's probably... The scale's so weird in this. It's not that high. Would it be about there? Maybe. I think it'd only be one wide as well. Yeah, that'll do. So I'm going to have one here and one here. And you're like, oh, what are you doing, Chris? Well, let me show you. I'm going to extrude it. Yoink, like that. So it'll be doing the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to do a swift loop. Yoink, 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 yoink. Just that. Because otherwise we'll have to do lots of complicated trims and things. Now I'm going to get that one. That one. And extrude it. Like that. Lots of lovely angles in this. I'm going to move the top line in. Yoink. And in. And doing it without using symmetry means I'll get some interesting, like, you know, little shapes and bits going down. Okay, now we have this fascinating shape here that doesn't really make much sense. I presume it comes out from like the side here or something, so I'm going to pull these back just to give us a little bit of windscreen. Again, it's really hard when you're dealing with a vector shape. There we go. And curve this. There we go. Not too much. That should do it. Okay, it's a little bit shape there. Oh, that is a cat. It's making so much noise. Go on in, cat. There's another cat in here, but you don't hear her that often because she's very, very old. So we keep things nice and quiet for her. Right, I'm going to pull in a couple of things off the edge over here. So for that to happen, I'm going to do a loop. Make sure I've got nothing selected. Bugger off. Swift loop, not a loop. There we go. Swift loop, and I'm going to get the same width here. Like that. Okay, and this is quite a complicated little shape, but I'll do my bestest. I'm going to take that, and that, and that. And I am going to extrude by 0. Again, this is so that I have more control. And then I can just, hello you, bring this out. And flatten it. And bring this up. Back a bit. Okay, now I need to work on both of these simultaneously, so there should be 2 sweeps here, basically. Let's have a look. So I'm going to bring that one back to, say, about there. Okay. Maybe a bit more forward. But not too much. And I can straighten that bottom poly if I need to. And then this should be able to... Hello, telephone. God, they're a nuisance, aren't they? Right, I should be able to bring this straight back in here like that. Then this comes back in like that. So we've got to get the angles right. And then, here's a good one. I'm going to select this, and do a ring, and a connect. Just a single one. No, not a double one, a single one. Eesh. There we go. See how I have to talk to myself? That's how I know I'm still alive, you see. Okay, now, the minute we're still at low polygon goodness, so... Pull that up to there. Pull that. Stop that, you. See, the way I can test this model is I can show it to my 15-year-old hipster son. And he'll go, oh yeah, that's alright. Oh, that's terrible, that is dead. And either way, I'll know I've done a good job if I make him horrified. Right, now, this bit I'm going to break away from keeping even polygons, because I'm going to use the Chamfer tool. If you've never used this before, watch. So, chamfer, and I'm going to chamfer about that far, right? So, about halfway between the initial chamfer and there. Then I'm going to do it again. There we go, and that's how you get that curved shape. Next, here and here. Now, I need this more halfway. If you look, it's not really halfway, so let's say about there is better. And let's move to the chamfer tool. And 1. It'll repair itself as we go along. And 2. Okay, so now we've got to look out for these weird dark areas over here, and that's where polygons have crossed over. Okay, you don't want them, so I'm going to clean them out. This is messy modelling. I don't like messy modelling, but sometimes we have to do it, otherwise we'll be here for flipping hours. So get used to the fact. Pardon me. So again, get rid of all this mess. And we can literally replace it with a nothing, which is helpful. So make sure we've got them both. Why do you keep doing this to me? It's not that 3ds Max, it's not allowed. Right, so with these two spaces I can now select border, and just cap it. Done. Okay, so now we've got these nice big side pieces here, and they've got the right width and everything, so that's cool. Still looking at this model here. I need some pipes. Okay, cool. Let's do some pipes. Pipes are fun. Pipes are fun, and you know, very. I don't even think what the word is, but they're very. Right, now there's a point here, okay, off the side where I can plug in the bottoms of the pipes. I'll do that once I've built them, but I can see how wide they need to be. And I only need 3, and they don't make any sense, and they're not proportional. So that's a help, isn't it? I think the easiest thing to do would be to have just a block come out there for them to go into. And they're just going to tuck behind it because that's what they do in art. Thanks, artist. Okay, let's get a cylinder, and I'm just going to pull one out. There. Okay, and 90 degrees. Well, no, it's more or less in the right place. And I am going to create some copies in a moment, so I just need to get this all kind of looking as it should. Now, this is going to intersect slightly with the bottom here. I do not care. Convert to editable polygon. That's me. Okay, I'm going to bring it up and shift. Now then, I'm trying to remember which one it is. I think it's an instance I'm going to be doing 2 of. I'm pretty sure it is. Which should mean that if I select this, yeah, that's the one. Cool. Okay, because I want to work on 3 at once. So this is going to come right out over here. Hello. Okay, to about there, and then it's kind of going to curve back on itself. All right. Now for this to work, which is a heck of an angle, incidentally, I need to just shift. I want to make sure that I have a flat polygon for it to work off first, which I don't. It's a bit of a nuisance, so I'm going to shift, drag that to there, okay, and just clone it to an element. Just so I can get a working surface, alright? Now if I zoom in on this, I want the 2 edges that make up the top, here and here, and I'm going to flatten them. Just on the Z-axis, okay? Now the reason for that is because I'm going to hinge from an edge, which is a tool that 3ds Max has, and that will allow me to basically put a little bit of a overlap, not overlap, I can't even think what the word is. Basically I can hinge it from here and it'll be a really tight curve, or hinge it from here and it'll be a slightly looser curve, is what I'm saying. Now it looks quite an angular curve, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit, there we go, and I'm going to get on my hinge from edge, and that will allow me to pick my hinge, which is there, yoink, and then I'll start with 90 degrees. Now I need it to go back, so it's actually going to be something like 110, and now I can start putting in segments like that. Okay, that works. if that's 110, then I deduct 20, and that'll be 70 a bit later on. So that'll make things a bit easier for me as well. Click, tick. Okay. Now, remember what I was telling you about the good old Bevel Tool? We're going to be using it here. And we need it to bevel almost completely in, right in the middle, so it looks like teeth. So, bevel. And it stays its thickness here for a bit. No, not you. Get back. It can be quite hard keeping the right piece selected, to be honest. So now I can just do that. You'll notice they're basically like little claws, aren't they? And I can just angle them down a bit. Like that. Because they're a bit uneven, which I noticed, so I might as well make them uneven here. Now by moving them like that, interestingly, I haven't actually ruined my calculations putting it back into the machine again. So now I can get back you. Now I can bring it straight down like that and out. That was just an extrude, you don't fool me. I can bring it straight down and out. Like that. And now I can bring it straight down and up a little bit like that. Not too much, but maybe about that much. Okay, and I am going to do the same thing again, but I'm just going to grab this one. Seems a shame to waste it. I'll be deleting it in a minute anyway. So I'll just bring it down to there. And like I say, this gives me just a lot more control over the curve of this. Right, now I can hinge from edge. And, what? No, that one, dear. Thank you. And we want the edge to be that one. What are you doing? Pick hinge, that one. Silly thing. Right, now I can move this, hopefully. No. See, that is not in the right place, is it? At all. Even with that hinge. I need to adjust that a bit more then. So let's pick this and where's it moving from? Oh, I know, I need to invert it a bit more. There we go. I was hinging it from the wrong edge. That's a little bit better, not quite. I think I'll make it a tight hinge actually. I'll get rid of that. And instead, I'm going to go away. Okay, look, I didn't mean go away. Take that. There we are. I'm going to just shift that to there. Yep, click OK, thank you. And grab these two edges. Sometimes it's a faff. That's a polite term for saying it's a dick on or fuck on or something. It is a faff though. Right, so I get this hinge from edge. Pick my hinge. Maybe that one. There. That's the shape I kind of want. And less segments, 70. See what I mean? Kind of fits straight in. Click tick. Now, I'm going to grow that. Shrink it one. Move it forward a little bit. There we are. And then take this and just extrude it. Yank. And it'll go straight in there. See? Literally all there was to it. It wasn't hard. Okay, now I need to create like a base box for it to connect into. So extrude off. Make sure these are kind of the right length, and they kind of are, so that's cool. Right, now at the back here, what I'm going to have to do is, well, firstly I need to get rid of that polygon by polygon. Otherwise it'll just be there still. I'm going to just bring this down. Hit F3, yeah, clone. Hit F3 so I can see through my object at this point. And I want to flatten again these edges, because if I don't, then my hinge from edge will shoot out at a funny angle. And apart from like a clown like noise, nothing will happen. That'd be good though, wouldn't it? The error message on 3ds Max, it goes like, you're fucked. Right. Did I just hinge from edge, pick hinge, hope it works. There we go, 90 degrees. And click tick. Okay, so there we go. And then just extrude straight down, wink. Probably turned out there where the engine box is, because the other exhaust comes from fairly low, so that one probably does as well. Hit F3. Right, I need to go and delete that, because you don't want to leave mess lying about. It's not a good plan. Right, now over here, this is, I'm going to go shrink, which is a technical term that you should always use. Then I'm going to grab here and here. Now, if you've ever watched my highly detailed robot tutorials, there's a good chance you're a pirate. But also, you'll have noticed the level of detail I'm doing is completely different to what I do with a robot, because this is just shape building. This doesn't require any cunning pistons or anything like that. Hinge from edge to tick. See, that's all there was to it. And now we have made our what looks like complicated but wasn't exhausts. Okay, now the next one we need to create is a bit bigger and comes basically out the side over here. So I am going to create cylinder, hello, and just pull it out from, I would say, because it's slightly above the door, about here. Yoink, yoink. Now this fella here doesn't curve, it's just angles. Okay, so right click, convert to editable poly, yoink. Okay, and looking at this, because it's quite a fun old thing, I'm going to bring this back and I'm going to do a hinge from edge. Pick my hinge, and it is going to be that one. It's going to be 90 degrees, and I'm going to put 2 segments in. Okay, so it looks like that, because that's what we've got. Okay, and I like that. Okay, click tick. Next, because this came out quite a ways, I'm going to just reduce it a little bit, like a nice soup. And then, you see, if it was a robot or something, I'd be building all the parts and hold this onto the side so that it doesn't fall off and kill someone. But because it's not, I don't care. Right, so I'm just doing 0 length bevels, which lets me do my shit. And now I'm doing a bevel inwards. Okay, wasn't difficult, was it? And that leaves us basically these 3 holes at the top. So I'm going to make a little inset there. Okay, that's all I need. And then I can put my 3 big chimneys o' doom or whatever in here. Now to create the big chimneys o' doom, I'm just going to do this. So I need tubes, I think, and I'm going to need 1 segment. And I'm just going to squish them to around about the right size. So there, there. And then straight up like that. So brilliant. Now I'm going to stick some height segs in there, maybe 5, which is what it comes with anyway. Right click, convert to editable poly, and I'm going to make 3 of these and attach them together. Okay, so God, I remember when good old Jason Busby first, I think he did a course like 15, 16 years ago, and it was just about making basic shapes in 3ds Max and how you use the modifier tools. And he had some brilliant ideas, Jason. Absolutely fantastic, man. Anyway, rest in peace, Jason. You're missed by everybody, mate. Now I'm going to attach these together. Now you'll notice I can't attach them together because they're referencing each other. So let's see if I can just collapse their stacks first and make them unique. Yeah, Okay, now I need to make these fit, so what I'm going to do is press FFD, and I want a 2 FFD. See that? So it'll give me a very basic surround on this, and that gives me a lot of power. Control points. If I just grab the control points here and bring them in, okay, I can do that straight away. So now they fit. And yes, they're squash and stretch, but they're supposed to be, remember, it's a cartoon. We talked about this earlier. If I was making something like a Pixar vehicle, okay, even if they made a clown vehicle, it would still be kind of extremely precise. Me, I don't have that, so I can just go like that, and it works. See? And because I feel that I'd be remiss, I can make them really wide too. See? Now, is that too high? I think it is, so I'm going to adjust the angle a bit. And then bring that down. Just to about there. See? Perfect. Turn the control points off, right click, convert to Editable Polygon, done. Okay, so now we have that, that and that. Next. How long have I been... Has this stopped? Am I recording still? God, I hope I'm recording still. Yes, I'm recording still. Thank God for that. I nearly died of shock. I was like really worried. Okay, so now I need to attach that, like so. And these 3 fellas need to be attached together as well. So I'm just going to convert to Editable Poly, because these are all part of the model. I mean, these things are just chrome, so when it comes to, you know, texturing these, we don't have to do a lot with them. But it's important we kind of group them together. Makes it easier for me to copy them. Right. I don't need to rotate these, so if I go to my left view and zoom, turn off grid, you can see where they are, and I just need to go yoink like that. I'm just working on it by eye. The good thing is, there's a lot of flexibility in 3ds Max, so you don't need to worry. You can undo, replace, remove, start over from scratch, start crying, whatever you like. Okay, now this one, and this one needs to be mirrored. One of the cutest things about my wife is she can't say the word mirror properly without a run up. I think that's adorable. Right, well, it's not one of the cutest things, but I think it's adorable. There we go, that's right. So now we've got a truck with the 2 things sticking out the top like that. I just realised that I'm an idiot. Oh no, I'm not. It's just the way the cartoon's drawn. It looks like it's going the opposite direction. And I know why. Oh, I am an idiot. Oh, that's amazing. Hang on then. See if I can still fix this, because I might be able to. FFD. It doesn't show it that way, but FFD. Just open up the control points. You'll notice I've only selected the top. There. I'm just going to slightly twist them. Yeah, that's actually not bad. Okay, convert to Editable Poly. Now you may remember this is an inside-out monster when it comes down to it. So if I go to Reset X form, it suddenly turns black. Convert to Editable Poly. Now this is made out of 4 elements, remember? So all I have to do is select all 4 elements with Control A, and then flip them, and then normal. Ish. Now I want to select just this top bit. Do an FFD, and then in the FFD I'm going to control points, and that way it only affects the very top of this. Okay, and then I can move it 5 positions like that. There we go, and that looks correct. Convert to Editable Polygon. Cool. I'm going to stand up, stretch my legs. Right. I'm back. No, so I didn't pause. That's professionalism for you. Okay, we've got that and that, and they're all looking good, and I'm happy and stuff, so blah, blah, blah. Let's look at this. I need to look at some final shapes I need to make down on this bit. And this is really just kind of a box, so it's not gonna cause me any issues. I think the easiest way to do this for me is going to be... Oh, it's a tricky one really, because I should really bring this in a bit more. Bring that down a bit. Let's have a look. See what I mean? It's all about tweaks, tweaks, tweaks now. So I'm going to bring this, this, and this in. Okay, just so it's over that. And I'm going to do the same again here, here, and here. So it's over there. Okay. Now this part here could really do with coming down a little bit. Not too much. Or this bit could do with coming up, depending. I think probably going to be easier to bring this part down a bit. Now let's see if I can do it just by manipulating these. Yeah, I can. So I'm going to bring that down to there. And then I can just bring this into there and into there. It's a very sharp little angle, isn't it? Which is fine because I can now select this, 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 and this. Do a connect. This is how we start to fix things. Make sure that's going to be okay there, and delete. Delete. I don't like leaving a bit of a mess, if you know what I mean. It's just, it's like an OCD. If you've got OCD and you do this, then you'll know what I mean. Right, so now I can just bridge from here to here, and from here to here. You'll notice there's a space there, which I will fix in a moment. There. Very easy to fix, actually. So I am going to select these edges there and there. Okay, and I'm going to not hinge, connect, and I'm going to scale them so they're flat. That looks a bit better. And now these are quad shapes, so I can just fill them. And it won't damage my model, you see. Right, now we've got this shape down here. And I'm going to use the, basically it's kind of a cheat method, but it's poly on poly. And poly on poly always works. Okay, it depends. If you're using this for a game, this will still work, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Poly on poly method always works. It's a little bit messy, but it's easier than the alternative. And the alternative for us will be literally spending 30 minutes doing minor adjustments until this thing looks right. So I just want to get this in the right position, up a bit, because all we're doing is basically making a box here for the exhaust system to go into. Go to Editable Poly and bring that across. Toot there, a bit more, lovely. And that, a bit further down, and then that one a bit further up. Now I'm going to bring that to there. So I like having a little bit of a, what do you call it for it? And I think I'll bring this back. Yoink. Okay, it just gives that nice shape to about there. And I'm going to bring this forward. Not all of it, just that bit. How much of an angle is there on this? Jesus. Oh, I see. Right. I'll explain it. I want a healthy angle coming off this, so I'll grab that, just do that. There we go. Right, now, nice easy part for me here is that I just need to mirror this. Mirror, clunk. And drag it over to there. can see exactly where it needs to go because it's just when that does that. And now it fits. And I can flip my normal. You're like, oh, it's gone black. Yeah, remember we talked about this. Now it's correct again. Alright, so we've nearly got the front done. Front's only got one wheel on its cab, which is an interesting old shape. It's not actually like an articulated truck. It's just a truck. Ah, it's nice though. Right then, that means we have the back to do. So in the back, I am going to stretch this out. So I can probably come from round about here. And I think what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to select this and this. Just move both the poly sets up like that. Okay, because I don't think they need to be too low. And that way I'll be able to do this a bit better. Okay, now over here I'm going to select this, and actually before I do, here's a good thing to do. I'm going to select my wheel, just one of them, and I'm going to do a shift and drag. Okay, to there, and then to there. Okay, and then with these two, I'm going to do a shift and drag to there, and that. Now you can see there's our truck, you see. I know the truck's overscaled, but it's kind of supposed to be, so, you know, don't bust my balls about it. Right, I'm going to pull back from here. Now, real trucks from the world will come out around about here, okay? So, extrude, and then pull back. Yoink. Okay, so that's about right. All the way to the thingy at the back. Now, at the back here, look at this. There. Now, I want to make some cuts on this, so I'm going to, at this point, you see I'm having to think while I'm explaining stuff, which is always fun, but that's what I do. Right, so here I need to bring this up, so I'm going to grab that, and I don't need to extrude it, but I can just pull it really, but I think I will, because I don't want that angle at the back. It's only an extra 5 polygons, so, well 4 actually, because it deletes the one that you originally had. Alright, now I can see this, and I want to bring out, so I am going to do a swift loop at the very tippy top, just there first, then I'm going to do some swift loops here. Just want to get this right, because otherwise it'll look horrible. Here, here, and here. Okay, see that? So they're all yowzers done. Perspective zoom. And now what I can do is get my shape, always keep an eye on your chamfers, okay, and your extrudes, because if it goes wrong, as it has for me many times, you end up having to do an awful lot of model repair. I've actually done tutorials on like fixing models when you're ballsed up from selecting too much, simply because I've done it in the middle of a tutorial and it seemed appropriate to show people how to fix the problems. But right, extrude. I'm going to bring this right out. Okay, so it kind of covers the wheels like that. Okay, slightly wider from the front as well. So at the minute we have this flatbed cartoon style truck. Now, oh, no, click, there we go, tick. Yeah, I want that. Now, it would be an idea to separate off the rear of the truck, and the reason for that is that I don't want all these edges. So, if I go in here and just select this lot, and then grow, and then deselect that, and instead select that, and detach. Where's my detach tool gone? I've forgotten. Oh, it'll be here. Okay, we're detaching it as an object, so truckload, because that's what it is. Look at that, we named something. That's how professional we are. Okay, now in here, I'm going to grab some edges. That one. Hold down Control now. That one. Still holding Control. That one. And Control backspace. There. Why have I done that? Because we need curves. We need curves at the top of these, and we can't do them without it. Okay, so there. That's why. Now I'm going to select all of these because I can do them all simultaneously. Now, if you don't feel that you can do this freehand, do it by entering numbers. Okay. Whatever's easiest for you is going to work. The whole point about this is you should be kind of enjoying yourself, relaxing and think to yourself, oh, you're kind of getting near the final fence, you know? Right, so just go around it one more time just to hope that you have the pieces correct. And then in here, we're going to use the Chamfer Tool. So take your time and chamfer there. And halfway, so you can see the 2 points that I've created and the one in between are equal. Do it again. No, not like that. Silly Chris. Do it again. Okay, and we get that shape, which is ideal. Side of the truck looks like shit, but I don't really care at that point. Right. Now the inside of the truck. And I am going to click grow, and that'll give me that bit, see? Now I'm going to inset it. But I can't until I change my settings from earlier to inset by group. And then undo it and do it again. That way it'll inset by group. Okay. Cool. Next, this bit. Well, this bit could take hours, but it won't. I'm going to extrude it straight up, same distance. Now I'm going to bevel it up to 0 and then straight out like that. And then I'm going to extrude it like that. And then I'm going to bevel it like that. Okay. Everything else is textures, really. Everything. Right, now I'm going to grab this and just pull it back a bit because I know it has a slight angle, not a massive one, but a little one at the back. Okay, that's given us a good shape. Much happy. Funny old truck, but there you go. Can't believe I'm making a request from a daughter. Madness, isn't it? Right, now this wheel here. You may remember it from earlier. Good thing about this wheel is everything we do at this wheel will carry on to all the other wheels. Okay? In theory. Actually, I don't think it will. Because I never actually converted this wheel to anything. Let's find out. No, right. Never mind. Okay, I'm just going to work on this one wheel then. It's time now to retire our biped. He has served us well. Goodbye. We shall call this. Well, it's already called wheel. So. I'm not going to work on the back side of it because what's the flipping point? I can just symmetry it. And convert to editable polygon. Right, now this is all chamfer. Okay, if you've never done this before with me, then prepare to have fun. I'm going to pull it in from there, and I'm going to use the Bevel Tool. It's not chamfer, it's bevel. God, such an idiot, Chris. Right, so come down slightly at the side there, because wheels are round. That's your tyre wall. That's the inside of your tyre. That's your tyre coming in. This is your hubcap. This is the pointy bit. Done. Right. That didn't take too long, did it? I know it's not textured, but you know what? It will be eventually, I'm sure. Not during this session, because I've got to go out very shortly, but you know, it will. Right, now I'm going to go down the middle of this and I'm going to do a connect, and now I'm going to delete all of these. Yoink. Oh god, I'm nearly finished. Amazing. Okay, now I'm going to go to symmetry. There it is. On the y-axis, z-axis. There we go. And I'm going to click my symmetry mirror, bring that in to about there. And let's see, convert to editable polygon. And I'm going to grab these. Didn't realise it was that late. I've been working on this for ages. Click grow, 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 grow. No, shrink, 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 shrink. Delete. Just shift, cap. There we go. That's my wheel. It'll even rotate if I wanted to, so that's kind of cool. Right, delete, 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 delete. Oops, there we go. I'm just making copies. Make sure I get them in the right place, eh? Ha ha ha. So one there. One there. And then the remaining two will be here. And then I just need to... Oh, that one's stuck in the mudguard. Don't want that. Right, now select all these. Doink, 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 doink. And mirror the entire bally lot. Mirrored. Moved. Delete. Delete. There we go. Move out. And need to do a bit of smoothing, so I'm going to select that, 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 that. In fact, I'm going to select all of it except the truck. There we go. And right click. No, not right click, over here. But smooth. There it is. Auto smooth 24.5 should be enough. Go to editable poly. These wheels, yoink, 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 and yoink, will need to be reset, converted. Not to editable meshes though. And then just flipped. You see, I'm keeping all these pieces though individual. I can't really just connect them all together and stuff because I might want the wheels to rotate. I might want to put this in a game engine, you never know. Because you can. Although I wouldn't do that without express permission of the copyright holder. I'm merely using this as an element to show how to make a cool thing from a visual. I do not in any way claim ownership of this item. Now if I stick this in orthographic, so I'll go into my front viewport and then move it. Yeah, that looks pretty much exactly like it actually. I'm quite pleased with that. Okay, so I would call that modelling phase like complete. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee. This is the Lewis truck, apparently, from Mystery Skulls. So well done, Mystery Skulls team, and thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try and get a second part in where we do some texturing. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that's fine. Sorry, ignore me. Before I do, attach that and that. There we go. Right, anyway, like I was saying, thanks for watching, and if there's a texturing part, which I sincerely hope there is, I will see you then. Bye bye for now. Ta-ta. How do I stop this recording? There must be a button.